Episode 93.
He's actually done quite a bit of research on battle mages.
Absolutely. Since excellent era chose Seng Xiang to succeed Ye Qiu, they would have definitely considered this aspect. Putting someone who's completely unskilled with a battle mage in that role is like putting a striker in defense on a soccer field. It's just absurd. But no matter what, even if you gave Ye Qiu a battle mage with different gear and skill levels, he'd still need some time to get used to it, right?
With Ye Qiu's experience, he probably wouldn't even need that.
Speaking of experience, Seng Xiang had only been in the Alliance for a year and a half. He was practically still a rookie. He's at a clear disadvantage in terms of experience.
Alright, everyone, look! Yang Kang has chosen to attack directly. His character, Xianri Li Ran, is now within one Autumn Leaf's line of sight.
Since the match had just been two characters maneuvering, Pan Lin and Li Yibo had been chatting, analyzing, and making predictions. The two sides suddenly clashed, and with the fight about to erupt, Pan Lin swiftly cut off his idle chatter and began commentating on the current situation.
Is Yang Kang being a bit too hasty? Scenery Killer, he's coming up.
He came straight at one Autumn Leaf's front.
He didn't charge straight in.
Scenery Killer charged in. He closed in on one Autumn Leaf, then abruptly halted, beginning to circle patiently, searching for an opening.
Just as I said, a seasoned veteran like Yang Kang wouldn't be so rash. He has the patience to play the long game. Let's see how Seng Xiang responds.
Seng Xiang made his move. One Autumn Leaf closed in on Dazzling Blossom.
Charge forward along its predicted path.
Youth is still youth.
He starts with a Sky Strike, but Windy Blade dodges it with a back step and counters with an Arc Flash. This time, what? A counter? Hit. Seng Xiang actually used the Dragon Tooth to directly counter the Arc Flash.
That's unbelievable! Viewers, you all know how fast our Flash is. Yet Seng Xiang used a Dragon Tooth to break it. That's a terrifying level of skill. What do you think, Coach Li?
Well, that's use for you.
Li Yibo was caught off guard, momentarily speechless. A Dragon Tooth breaking Arc Flash. Even he had no idea what kind of maneuver that required.
Seng Xiang countered with Dragon Tooth. 暗地性的呢 Attribute Battle Ball generated. What a shame. Scenery Killers. Twin Swords parried it. But the moment the Ballista detonates, the buff takes effect. Now one Ottoman Leaf's movement speed is already ramping up. Sky. Strike! Pierce! Consecutive Frost! Scenery Killer dodged it, but I think he looked pretty strained doing so. What do you think, Coach Lai?
Pan Lin realized Li Yibo hadn't said a word for quite a while, so he instinctively steered the conversation his way. Li Yibo managed a weak acknowledgement. Pan Lin, completely caught up in the action, failed to notice his colleague's odd behavior. The match was unfolding with ferocious intensity. Seng Xiang's one Autumn Leaf used basic attacks to reclaim the short cooldowns of his minor skills, launching one relentless assault after another. Though his attacks weren't landing consecutively, Scenery Killer was completely suppressed, with no chance to retaliate. Throughout this process, Scenery Killer was still clipped by a few of one Autumn Leaf's minor skills. As his health was whittled away, the small skills generated one Battle Mage ball after another, which shot out and exploded. With every buff stacked upon him, the Battle Mage's signature trait, growing stronger the longer the fight raged, was now in full effect. It seems Seng Xiang and one Autumn Leaf
are working together seamlessly.
Pan Lin meanwhile kept up his commentary. Seeing the guest was silent, he quickly prompted him to speak. Yet again, Li Yibo just grunted in response.
Truly worthy of being called a genius rookie. Coach Li, in your opinion, has Seng Xiang's skill already reached the level of absolute top players?
That's a bit hard to say. Most of the league's top players have God level accounts. But this is Seng Xiang's first time piloting one of these elite characters. We'll need to observe him for a while before making a judgment.
Li Yibo finally snapped out of it. His dazed state was entirely due to Seng Xiang's skill, which far surpassed anything he had imagined. he suddenly realized he might be falling behind. These days, he was just spouting empty theories on his show, all talk and no action. How long had it been since he'd actually touched Glory himself? Has Glory really evolved this far already? He recalled past broadcasts where he'd often encounter moments he couldn't quite grasp. Li Yibo would usually gloss over such moments with practiced ease. But this time, Seng Xiang's performance was too shocking. So shocking that Li Yibo forgot to even put on his usual act of feigned understanding. The match had become a one-sided affair. None of the advantages Li Yibo had analyzed for Yang Kong at the start of the match were visible. All anyone could see was Seng Xiang's skill and one autumn leaf sheer dominance. The overwhelming offensive had completely ignited the passion of the spectators in the happy internet cafe. Everyone was shouting and cheering, and even Chen Guo was getting incredibly excited. "The battle god is still here!" Someone suddenly shouted this slogan, and the entire audience responded enthusiastically, chanting in a rhythmic, one after another roar. Even Chen Guo couldn't help but join in, clapping and shouting along with the crowd. The commentator's voice on the broadcast was completely drowned out, but did anyone even need commentary now? Not a chance! One autumn leaf's domineering assault spoke for itself, leaving no room for interpretation, as Feng Jingsha fell before the might of one autumn leaf spear, evil annihilation. The atmosphere in the internet cafe hit its peak. Cheers, applause, whistles, and screams erupted from the crowd. This was no ordinary victory. Seng Xiang's commanding performance with one autumn leaf ignited a spark of hope in everyone. They seemed to see that era once more, when one autumn leaf swept through the alliance, undefeated. In the team battle, when one player falls, their teammate immediately takes their place. There's no break in between. The next player from Team 301 took the stage. Perhaps still reeling from one autumn leaf's overwhelming display in the previous match, this competitor's performance was clearly off. They became the fastest defeat in the 5-1-on-1 battle so far. After 2 battles, one autumn leaf had lost only a quarter of his health. Commentators Pan Lin and Li Yibo, along with the audience at Happy Internet Cafe, were already eagerly discussing the possibility of Seng Xiang pulling off a 1-versus-3. Given the current situation, it seemed like a foregone conclusion. Team 301's third player was even more timid than the second. He practically refused to engage one autumn leaf in any direct confrontation. His footwork was frantic. The moment one autumn leaf made the slightest aggressive move, he'd dodge away as if his eyebrows were on fire. The spectators in the internet cafe were already in stitches. This third challenger looked like he was utterly terrified of facing Seng Xiang's one autumn leaf, yet he had no choice but to grit his teeth and step up. Once he was up there, he couldn't just go through the motions, so he was left hopping around in this awkward, almost cute-looking way.